Hey guys, it's your coin consultant here. In case you haven't noticed, silver's been really going up over year, month over month, day over day. It has just really been on the rise, and with it comes a lot of power you have with the ability to barter for services, for rare coins, or the availability to get cash. A lot more cash than you could last year. In fact, over about double. So please watch my other videos. If you don't know what junk silver is, I'll be putting that up shortly. I'm not going to get into that here. I need to make this kind of quick. But I do want to tell you how to tell what your junk silver you already have is worth. It's really doesn't have any power if you don't know what you have. So before you sell it to somebody or take it into a pawn shop and just to get some money, and pawn shops are great, and we'll get into that in different videos. But for right now, you need to be able to be well informed to be able to make that decision whether you want to sell to a pawn shop or trade with them, or many options you have on Marketplace, Facebook groups, just all kinds of stuff with service providers. But anyway, the sole purpose of this video is to take the junk silver you have and find out what it's worth. So I dumped it out here. I had some tubes, and they were full of dimes, half dollars, quarters, and I just dumped them into a pile here. I already figured it out. This pile of junk silver is worth about $3,500, close to $3,600. But I just wanted people to be aware of what they have. So real quick, there's a couple different dimes. They're going to be the same. They're 90%. Half dollars, there's Kennedy, there's Franklin, there's Walking Liberty. They're 90%. Quarters before 65 are 90%. Just so when you see when I'm doing this here and you're like, wait a minute, that's a Franklin dollar, that's a Walking Liberty, I don't want you to get confused. A half dollar is a half dollar. It's 90%. If it's 90%, it's the same amount of money. But I'll show you a couple examples. So I simply went to Google on my little iPad here. I typed in junk silver calculator. A bunch of different options come up. All you do is pick the one that you like. There's some really good ones. I happen to like this one that's on coinapps.com. It tells you the amount silver is worth right now, $46.46 per troy ounce, and that's right now. So really all you do is type in the amount of coin that you have, and it'll tell you what it's worth. Pretty easy, but knowledge is power, so trust me, you do need to do this if you're planning on selling or doing anything. So war nickels, I have 25 of those. Simply type in 25 and it's going to show you what it's worth. $65 for 25 nickels, $65.35. Pretty neat, especially since a lot of people didn't keep war nickels that were made during World War II because there was only 35 cents in them, and they can look like this. And one of them is worth $2.61. So whether you like it or not, I tell people now, well, this nickel that you can still find in circulation is worth $2.61. Some coinage is not going to be junk silver. It's going to be stuff that you want to grade. Please watch my other videos for that. How to tell if it's a war nickel or not. I have a great couple-minute video that tells you can go through 100 nickels. It takes 1 or 2 seconds each to be able to tell if it's a war nickel or not. And you don't even need a magnifying glass or microscope or anything like that. So watch that video. and you could just cruise through your nickels and find all the 35% silver ones. At $2.61 each, yeah, nickel hunting can be a really fun time right now. But anyway, I'll just give you a couple more examples and I'll end this video. So we did war nickel, but I want to do, I keep hitting this keyboard down here, but it's not turned on, so I keep forgetting. Mercury dime. I have a tube of those. There was 40 in there. Mercury dime, 40. You can see $134 just for 40 dimes. Not bad. Not bad. A lot more than it was. Quarters. Junk silver quarters. Let's get rid of the dime. There's different quarters. Standing Liberty. The Washington quarter is the one most people are going to be familiar with. But like I said, they're both 90% silver. They're both the same weight. They both are going to be worth the same amount. So even though they have different quarters, different dimes, different half dollars, it doesn't matter which one you type in. If you have 20 Kennedys, that's the same value as 20 Franklins, the same value as 20 Walking Liberties, and so on and so on. So here I have Washington quarters. I have 40 of them. As you can see, that's a good amount for 40 quarters. $336.09 for 4 quarters. And this just goes through all of the different coins. I even have silver dollars here. You can put those in. Although before you sell those as junk silver, I highly recommend you watch some of my other videos. But anyway, that's how you tell what you got. Put them all in, and you can put them all in at the same time too. So like dimes, you can leave the quarters in there so you know what you're up to 64. War nickels, and just a good way to just get your net sum of money. So we're already up to $657. All we have is 20 war nickels, 80 dimes, and 40 quarters in there, and we have over $650. And you could keep going with whatever you have. Now, Walking Liberty, I'm putting those separate. So I also have, 40 of those. But I could have just put 80. I have 40 Franklins and 40 Walking Liberties. I could put 40 and 40, or I could just put 80. To keep it accurate, I'll just keep it what it is. So 40, again, it's going to be worth the same as the Franklins, but for the purpose of this video, I'll just put it in the spot it's supposed to go in. So you see, we're already up over $2,000, $2,001, just for those amounts. Now, lastly, I'll just say, if they are worn to the point where you can't even hardly read a date on it, and it's slick, and you could tell a lot of silver's missing, there is a spot on here for you to put in amount of wear. If you want to do that, depending on who you're selling to, they may care, they may not care. Let's just say 5% wear on this. So it's going to bring it, down a little. And then, of course, there's always a price spread. What I also like about it is the coins we've entered so far, it tells you how many ounces you have. So what we've entered, the quarters, dimes, and war nickels, is 40 troy ounces of silver. And regular ounces, it's 44 ounces. So, and when you sell and buy, there's a little difference in that, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Buying and selling is a whole different topic. But you basically know what you have. Lastly, I'll get into Canadian. Canadian did most Canadian money besides copper, pennies, was 80% silver. They didn't have 90% like we did, but they did go up to 1967, which is kind of cool. You can go to Canadian calculator, and it's by the same people, Coin Apps, and I do like it a lot. And I do like Canadian money. So, well, I live right across the river from Canada, but I have a whole bunch of Canadian dollars here. These are silver dollars. They're all 80%. There's 25 in that tube. So you would just do the same thing. Find the dollar. It's Queen Elizabeth II. Silver dollars, 80%. I have 25 of them. And it's going to tell us 25 of those is worth $174. Let me make sure I did that. I don't think that sounds right. Nope. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So I apologize for that. I think we're in a different denomination. Here's the silver dollars. Okay, Queen Elizabeth. Now we're getting somewhere. I was like, that does not sound like a lot of money. Go to the right one, Silver Elizabeth, and then put 25. Then see how much money you got. So if you have 25 of those, that's $713. That's a little bit better than 100 and something. So this tube right here of 25 silver dollars is worth $713, and that's the spot value. That's the melt value. If you melt them down, you can a lot of times get more than that, but that's kind of how you find out what you have here. So we had 3,500 here. Here's another 700. We have over $4,000 in silver here. Watch my other videos and find out best ways to cash in, how to get the most money, what other power you have with this silver. Not $4,000 right here. Not bad. You probably didn't even know you had it. And also how to find out what's a war nickel that is 35% silver. And also which ones might not be considered junk silver before you go ahead and cash those in at melt value. Some you can get a whole lot more than melt for. So stay tuned for that. But I didn't want to post those videos yet until people had an idea of what some of these are worth. So a lot of people are putting these in tubes right now, and or have tubes, and just literally just stacking 20 of these, and it's crazy. Because people have been saving them for years. So you literally take 20 walking liberties, and you got yourself a handful of Benjamins, you know? So it's pretty neat. I happen to like walking liberties, but I like all silver. So if you got a roll of 20 of those, you're at $336 worth of just the silver. That is not numismatic value. That is nothing except silver content value. And so 20 of those would give you 7.23 troy ounces of silver at 46 and 46 cents an ounce. Now that is going to change in the morning. That number, Monday morning around 8, 9 o'clock, you'll see that it changes all the time. So you got to keep an eye on it. But simply just log on, check, see what it is before you go to sell it. Because literally from day to day, you can be $5, $10, $100 different. So that's it. Watch my other videos. I really look forward to people subscribing and asking questions and looking at your comments. And I think that's about it. So check out, see how much your money's worth, and then watch my other videos to see what you can do with it. All right, if you got any questions, go ahead, send them in, put them in the comments. Please like and subscribe. It's really kind of time consuming to do these videos, so it really helps if people join in and subscribe and all that stuff. Of course, I don't get any money for doing any of this. I just want people to be aware of what they have. So many people have just gotten rid of their dimes and quarters thinking they're not worth anything. And as you can see, a dime is like $3 and something. It's really insane. And I just hate to see people waste their money like that, especially a dime. So if you click on it, it puts one dime, $3.36, a dime. Who would think, that a dime would be worth $3.36? Just the silver in it is worth that much. So don't want to see anybody get ripped off. This is your coin consultant. That's all I know for now. I'll talk to you soon.